Darth Vader. Imagine being so legendary that the mere sound of your breathing, those deep, mechanical gasps, instantly identifies you. That's Darth Vader. Hands down one of the most iconic villains ever. He wasn't always this towering figure of dread, though. Once, he was Anakin Skywalker, a Jedi prodigy with a lightsaber and a bright future. But then came the bad choices, epic, life-altering, galaxy-shaking bad choices. He turned on his friends, helped slaughter the Jedi Order, and embraced the dark side. All because of a mix of love, fear, and some seriously manipulative nudging from Emperor Palpatine. What gets me is his resolve, even as he's burning alive in Mustafar's lava. Losing limbs and humanity, he's still thinking, yeah, I'm sticking with this. That's not just stubbornness, it's a commitment to the dark path that's almost admirable in its intensity. And then there's that cape. You've noticed it, right? Always flowing, always dramatic, even when there's no breeze to justify it. I'm convinced he's channeling the Force just to keep it billowing behind him. Like a Sith Lord fashion statement. Because let's be real, being a 7-foot-tall cyborg with a red lightsaber isn't intimidating enough. He needs that extra theatrical edge. To me, Vader's not just a villain, he's a study in transformation. He's what happens when talent and potential get twisted by emotion and pride. I've always wondered, if someone had reached him sooner, could he have stayed Anakin? Or was the pull of power too strong? Either way, he's a villain who haunts you, not just with fear, but with the tragedy of what could have been. The Joker. No one's ever embodied the Joker quite like Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight. That role wasn't just acting, it was a descent into madness so real it's unforgettable. With his twitchy mannerisms, warped worldview, and that bone-chilling, "Why so serious?" delivered in a sing-song snarl. Ledger made the Joker more than a villain, he made him a force of nature. To me, he's the guy who'd burn down a party if he wasn't the center of attention. If he can't have fun, no one can. That's his unspoken rule. He's chaos with a grin, reveling in turning order into anarchy without a shred of remorse or reason. What unnerves me most is how much he enjoys it. Bombing hospitals, rigging ferries with explosives to test human morality, torturing Batman's soul. He treats it all like a sick game. His philosophy that anyone, no matter how good, can be broken into a monster like him isn't just terrifying, it's a dark mirror. It makes me question, how much pressure could I take before cracking? He's paralyzed Barbara Gordon, tormented Commissioner Gordon, and spent years trying to dismantle Batman's moral code. All with that gleeful cackle. Unlike other villains who lean on tragic backstories for sympathy, the Joker doesn't bother. Sometimes he spins a tale of a rough childhood, other times he invents a new origin just to mess with you. His past doesn't matter, only the havoc he wreaks now does. He doesn't want power or wealth, he just wants to watch the world burn. No grand plan, just pure, unpredictable madness. To me, that's what makes him scarier than most. He's a void where motive should be. Frieza. Named after a fridge, Frieza equals freezer. It's fitting that he's the iciest villain in anime history. Frieza doesn't just dominate planets, he obliterates them for sport. Take planet Vegeta. He wiped it out, along with nearly all Saiyans. Because he got paranoid they might one day outmuscle him. That's not just evil, it's petty evil, which I find oddly fascinating. What really stands out to me is how he prolongs his fights, dragging out the pain instead of going for the quick kill. He knows what's right, heck. He could play the hero if he wanted, but he picks cruelty every time. That's renegade energy at its purest. Think about it. He toys with Vegeta for hours, kills Krillin right in front of Goku just to twist the knife. And even after dying, he claws his way back to terrorize Earth again. I both love and hate how he's basically arrogance, sadism, and a god complex rolled into one smug package. He's so iconic that the Dragon Ball team keeps resurrecting him, even if the excuses get flimsier each time. After his humiliating defeat by Goku, he trains for 4 months and returns as Golden Frieza, an even bigger headache. To me, Frieza's proof that some villains don't need a redemption arc. Why redeem him when he's this good at being bad? He's the kind of enemy who'd smirk while stabbing you. And I can't help but respect the sheer audacity. Voldemort. Voldemort, the Dark Lord of the Wizarding world, is what happens when a gifted kid gets too much, chosen one, energy and no one checks him. Born Tom Riddle. He was a brilliant wizard, top grades. Charming when he wanted to be, but deeply unhinged. Power wasn't enough, he needed immortality, world domination, and a side of genocide against muggles. I think he's a bit extra. Honestly, why stop at being the best when you can also erase entire groups of people? His war on the wizarding world saw him murdering anyone in his way, including trying to off baby Harry Potter. That backfired, sparking their epic rivalry, but it shows how far he'd go. Splitting his soul into Horcruxes to dodge death is next-level commitment. Creepy. Sure, but you've got to give him points for follow-through. I can't get over his vibe, though. That whispery voice, the snake sidekick Nagini, and the missing nose, what happened there? It's like he traded it for evil points. His name alone strikes terror into wizards, to the point they won't even say it. If I had to dodge Voldemort, I'd call him Noseless Nightmare. He's a villain who blends brains with brutality. And to me, that mix makes him unforgettable. I've always wondered, was he ever redeemable? Or was he doomed from the start? Either way, he's a cautionary tale about unchecked ambition. Reverse Flash. Ever met someone so obsessed with ruining your life they'd rewrite history for it? That's Reverse Flash, aka Eobard Thawne. He started as a scientist from the future, a Flash fanboy worshipping Barry Allen. Then he discovers he's fated to be Barry's arch-nemesis and goes, fine, I'll lean into it. I'm equal parts appalled and impressed by his dedication. Using the Speed Force, he zips back in time to kill Barry's mom, frame his dad, and turn Barry's world upside down. He's not just a villain, he's a personal vendetta on legs. What gets me is the spite. He doesn't want power or glory, he just wants Barry to suffer. Rewriting timelines, erasing people from existence, altering history, it's all to stick it to the Flash. I find his pettiness almost hilarious if it weren't so horrifying. He's the ultimate hater, the kind of enemy who'd crash your wedding just to ruin the cake. To me, Reverse Flash is a masterclass in grudge holding. Most villains have bigger goals, but he's content being Barry's living nightmare. I can't help but marvel at how far he'll go for a feud. If I had an enemy this committed, I'd move planets. Thanos. Most villains chase power or destruction, but Thanos? He's after balance. Growing up on Titan, he watched his planet collapse under overpopulation and decided the universe needed a trim, half of all life. To be exact, what messes with my head is how he genuinely thinks he's the good guy, saving existence through mass murder. He spends years hunting Infinity Stones, snaps his fingers, and wipes out half of everything, then kicks back to cook soup like it's no big deal. That quiet confidence unnerves me. It's not gloating, just certainty. When the Avengers undo his noble work, he returns as a full-on destroyer, ready to erase it all if he can't win. I find Thanos compelling because his logic isn't nonsense. Overpopulation is a real issue, but his solution is bonkers. He's a rare villain I can empathize with, even as I root against him. To me, he's less about evil and more about a twisted sense of duty. I've debated with friends, is he a monster or a misguided savior? Either way, his snap changed the game, and that's why he sticks with me. Nagato, Pain. Nagato, better known as Pain, is destruction with a philosophy degree. His big idea? Pain teaches understanding. Orphaned in the Naruto world's brutal wars, trained by Jiraiya with dreams of peace, he flips after losing his best friend Yahiko. I get where he's coming from. The cycle of hate is real, and war breeds war, but his fix is to nuke everything and call it unity, which is peak villain reasoning. With the Rinnegan's godlike power, he leads the Akatsuki, flattens villages, kills Jiraiya, and decides who lives or dies. What I love is his complexity. He's not wrong about humanity's flaws, but his suffer for peace plan is a hard no. His redemption, sacrificing himself after Naruto shows him another way, hits me hard. To me, it's proof there was still good in him, buried under grief and rage. Pain's the kind of villain who makes you think, not just shudder. T-1000. If you want a villain who says nothing but wrecks everything, T-1000 is it. He's not just a Terminator, he's liquid metal death, built to hunt and kill. Unlike the clunky T-800, he's fast, sleek, and horrifyingly efficient. I'm obsessed with how he shape-shifts, heals from any hit, and turns his arms into blades. No reasoning, no mercy, just relentless pursuit. He's the nightmare that keeps coming. reforming every time you think he's down. To me, his silence and focus make him scarier than any trash-talking bad guy. He's pure purpose, and that's why he's unforgettable. And that is fiction's most iconic villains. What's your opinion? Who do you like the most? Leave a comment below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Peter the Explainer's channel.